Welcome back to the CD Financial Podcast, CD Financial, where health meets wealth. I'm Mark C., your host. That man across from me making faces is Chuck D. Chuck, my man, you seem to be in a chipper mood. What's going on, brother?
Shaka brah. Why not? Why not? It was cool. I was watching American Idol the other day and I was like, oh, we got more Hawaiians in. I love that Izzy, I think his name was, or I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, the ukulele guy with
Yeah,
Somewhere
man,
Over
I
the
loved
Rainbow.
it. Right? Because I miss Israel. Or maybe that was his name, was the original guy.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
original guy was Izzy.
Yeah, the original guy was easy. I've forgotten this guy's name. Maybe one of you guys could pop in a text and tell me on the YouTube channel. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's nice to see them. Love the island peoples. I was down in Oceanside. We did a Fed seminar out at the
Uh-huh.
library. I think it's Mission Library. It's called. And we went to the Thursday night. I love to do it on Thursdays because we got the Thursday night street fair. They got all kinds of food from all over the place, but people from all over the place too. And I always end up seeing Samoans or Hawaiians there, and you know them because they got that look, and they're tall, kind of sometimes intimidating, big framed. And there was like three really tall young girls, and their mom was saying, "Hey, you look both ways before you go across. You can't cross yet. There's a traffic signal for pedestrians."
Did
But I
she
saw
smack
them,
him
I
in
was
the
like,
back of the
"Wow."
head?
She did not, but they sure are pretty people too, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you just see from everywhere, right? You see Africans there, and you see just everywhere. Typically we're in the Pacific Rim, so Asians, Filipinos and Koreans, and just blacks and whites and everybody. It's just cool. It's a big
What a
mix.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, Oceanside's really a eclectic mix down there for that street festival. I really like it.
Yeah. So Thursday nights in down there, they do that in Palm Springs too, right? Thursdays?
It ain't Oceanside, baby.
That's Palm Springs, man.
They do Thursday night in Palm Springs.
Yeah, yeah, they closed down the downtown area. There's like, I don't know, it's about
Oh
six,
yeah,
eight
yeah,
blocks.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
really
not.
cool.
Yeah, that is cool. This is very much bohemian. It's very street level. They put up huts, and they so we had soul food. I had oxtail and
Nice.
black-eyed peas that had, like, it tasted like shrimp and sausage, like a gumbo with
Wow.
black-eyed peas and rice. It was really good. And there was a twice baked mac and cheese, and it was like a piece of pie almost. It was exceptional. And I'm gluten free, so I only had a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but it was let me say low gluten. So it was really good. The three of us split it up. Jude
Nice.
Fallon and I. Yeah, it was. And then we had collard greens. Yeah.
Collard greens.
And then we went down and we had some Thai food. And then we bounced down and had some, oh, was it Jamaican food? Right? And there was a Polish stand there, and I didn't see the Filipino food booth. I don't know if it's still there or not. Vendors come and go because
Yep.
I would.
Yep.
They have that big walk, and I always get pensit when I hope I'm saying that right. The
Yeah, that's how I say it. I don't know if that's right. I'm not Filipino, but we'll go
right,
with it.
the those fried noodles are just so
Yep.
good,
Yeah.
right? I love that, and I went and bought two belts, and my son bought a couple belts too. The guy's got such high quality belts. He's a Mexican, and I love his gear. And he sold me too, and from him. I like it. I like being sold, right?
Yeah.
And he whipped it out and showed me, and then his daughter went and grabbed something else. I was like, yes, I want that. I was only in there I wasn't actually buying anything, and I walked out with two really nice belts.
That's a good
So,
salesman, man.
well, high quality stuff too. I mean, I've had this black belt of his for like 10 or 12 years. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really good stuff. Yeah. So I bought a thicker black one, and then a brighter, like a saddle colored belt that I'm wearing now too. It looks so good with with slacks and khakis and stuff. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice. So a couple of things you made me you sparked a couple of thoughts for me there talking about Filipino food. Filipino food's fantastic. If you can get them to make you lechon,
That's
which is
on.
a roasted pig. Oh
Ooh.
my goodness.
Ooh.
The Filipino restaurants here, a lot of them don't make it because it requires a lot of work. But if you can find one that makes it, buy it. Just take my word for it. Buy it. The other thing you mentioned Jamaican food. one of these days, and we'll have to make time because it's a bit of a story. I'm going to tell you my Jamaican chef story. It's really kind of interesting experience that we had down in Jamaica, but in retrospect, probably a little shady what we did. I don't think we considered all the potential dangers of what we were doing, but we'll have to get into that another day, man. It's a great story. Just remind me to tell you the Chef Steve story, Chef Steve down in
Chef
Jamaica.
Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
We'll,
Just south of us is Mira Mesa, and they
uh-huh.
call it Manila Mesa. Yeah,
Nice.
or what's that town called? Yeah, Mira Mesa. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And they call it Manila Mesa, so they got to have lechong down there. They got to. I
You
would
find you
think.
some, you will thank me later.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we talking about?
All right, today's topic, and this is good because I'm glad we started talking about food because when I get anxious, I lose my appetite, so I need to have the balance there. We're talking recession, my man. We're talking recession, and it's something that's on everybody's mind right now. And so, first thing, I'm going to throw this out to you: Are we in a recession right now?
Huh. Are we in a recession right now? Not yet.
Okay,
That's the
explain.
short answer. The short answer, you got to have a couple quarters or 6 months where GDP or growth actually came down and
Yeah.
decreased,
Yeah.
right? So it's the economy is projected to be a slower growth or maybe even stalled growth. So in 2025, are we in a recession? Not yet. Now, in February, there was a 47% chance of a downturn or a
Mm-hmm.
recession.
Okay.
Only it was only 25. I'm sorry, it was only 25% chance in February. Now
Mm-hmm.
we have a 47% chance. Let me
Okay.
reword that. But JP Morgan is saying the probability is up to 60%. So there's a more belief or majority past 50% that we could
Right.
be going towards a recession.
Right. So so it seems we're headed that way. I mean,
Yes.
without getting too technical, we're not yet, but it seems we're headed that way. Now, part of the reason that I think it's important we discuss this is because of the effect it has mentally. I think if you I don't watch the news anymore. I think you're like me. We're on a real strict no news diet, right? We look for the news we need as opposed to just watching the evening news. But I think that word gets bantied about a lot, right? Recession, you hear it all the time: recession, recession, recession. And then people start to feel this anxiety because just the mention of the word causes anxiety. So why are people feeling anxious right now? What is it about recessions that cause anxiety?
Well, I mean, you don't just have slow growth. You've also got shrinking of people's investment accounts. So
Mm-hmm.
that has a number. It plays, it plays on people's minds. I know it
Right.
affects my wife and I even when we see our retirement accounts shrink.
Yeah.
That's, that starts to make you feel like, and then federal employees losing their jobs so much and that downsizing, so if you're, because so many federal employees are listening. So if you've lost your job or there's a concern you're going to get your job taken from you, or you've already taken the DRP and resigned, then, and then it simultaneously when you leave work and you're getting ready for retirement, and if you haven't prepared your TSP or your 401k for a market downturn because you're the majority of your money's in the stock market, then
Right.
that goes down, your income goes down. It's not a really good scenario, right?
Yeah.
My wife was telling me that a lot of real estate deals have been coming undone, just in what do they call it when they go to escrow, and they've
Yeah.
been coming undone just in the last few days, just before they close. And the response has been, "Look, we don't have as much money as we did in our retirement accounts or investment accounts, and I just don't think we should be spending this kind of money right now." Now, these are deals that have been multi-million dollar home deals and stuff, but still, in Southern California, that's not that unusual. A,
Yeah.
and B, they might be thinking, if we're just patient, we can get a deal that might be several thousand, several hundred thousand less. So that could be also what the mentality is. I know in my own zone here, we were thinking about buying commercial office building, and we're dragging our feet right now.
That
Yeah,
may be a good thing.
yeah, it might be a good thing. A couple factors involved, but I don't think the real estate market is that heated right now.
What do
So
we? So yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up that commercial property because you mentioned that before that you were talking about, or you guys were looking into potentially getting a commercial property. What is the state right now of the commercial properties? What are they looking at? Because I know there's been a lot of effects on real estate with the turn in the economy, right? So it's affected it. What are we looking at as far as commercial properties go? What are the effects?
well, Marcus, why don't we talk about occupancy inside
Okay.
these buildings? Why don't you expound on that? I bet you got your own answers if I just say occupancy in commercial
Yeah.
buildings.
Well, I'll tell you what I've noticed myself, just looking around, right? Post COVID, so many people realized that their jobs could be done remotely. So you had a lot of growth here where we're at in Austin, right? We had a lot of office buildings going up. Even through the pandemic, construction continued. So you have a lot of office space. But then post pandemic, you didn't get a lot of people going back to an office, a physical office. So when you look at the occupancy rates of these buildings, they're really beautiful buildings, a lot of great amenities, but you're probably hovering around 50 to 60% on a lot of them. Maybe less, maybe more, depending on the location, but who wants to fight traffic and drive to an office if you can just get up in your PJs and pour yourself a coffee and get in front of your computer, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these folks, there's less interruptions, they tell me, and they're more productive working from home. They say, by the
Interesting.
time you go to the bathroom, it could take you. I know a lot of federal employees told me it could take me 15 minutes to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
whereas at home it takes me 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said because everybody says hello to you, this, that, and the other. Um, eh, I'll tell you right now, just north of me in Irvine, off Interstate 5 and 405,
Uh-huh.
um, you got a lot of good looking office buildings that I'm not so sure are occupied.
Hmm.
And so the the valuations, meaning what are these buildings worth, were assessed pre-COVID
Uh-huh.
on loans. Okay, so you've got these loans um, that put a valuation on these commercial buildings and offices, and now their valuations might be lower because they're not 98, 92% occupied
Occupied. Yeah.
any longer. I saw some statistics. Let me share them with you.
Okay. Well, you look the statistics up. Let me ask a quick question. Are we
Sure.
seeing then, or you think we're looking at potentially what happened with the housing market where people are getting upside down on commercial real estate?
Yeah, that's going to happen with some of the owners. You got because what you have is the valuations now could be lower than what they were 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and now you've got these loans that are resetting. And when they got the loans 10 and 12 years ago, they were at low interest rates, and now in this high interest rate environment, the payments to take care of this debt to service the debt are much higher now,
Yeah.
and the buildings aren't worth as much. So you've got 27,000 commercial properties that are going to change hands potentially. And you've got,
Wow.
keep that 27. Now we
Uh-huh.
got 2.7, 27,000,
Yeah.
2.7 trillion
Wow.
in commercial debt that's
Whew.
going to refinance. So it's going to go through a refinancing. And so we could have, I don't know. I mean, it could be that there could be an opportunity. There always is when
Okay.
you know, um, when there's a dilemma, there's also an opportunity, right?
Right.
Yeah. In any kind of a market downturn, in this case, we're talking real estate, it could be in recession and or there's going to be an opportunity for some people that have been waiting on this. I'm surprised if they want to build buildings because I think they ought to take some of these commercial properties and turn them into apartments. Some of them even possibly,
Interesting.
semi luxury apartments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're downtown, a lot of them, and they got good look. Or these ones in Irvine, they've planted trees along the sidewalks. They, as I said, they look good. They're just two-story offices. A lot of these, and I think it'd be a great space to put apartments in. Now, just to be clear, we're not talking about warehouse buildings.
Right.
Those are big square footage under big demand because of everybody's increase in shopping online, and
Yeah.
that's not going down. It's going to continue that trend with everybody selling goods online, including Amazon. So I hear that that occupancy is like at 98%. And the problem with that kind of occupancy percentage is that there's nowhere for a business that expands to
Yep.
move into when they're in
Yep.
a building, because there's nowhere to expand at 98%. What,
Yep.
2%? Right? It doesn't really give you much. So there's a big demand on those buildings, the warehouse buildings, but and fulfillment centers, meaning, they process orders, they package them up, they send them down the conveyor belts, they get them on trucks, to trains and what have you, and trucks and delivery vehicles, and they get them out there.
Yeah,
Those are
that's always
fulfillment.
striking to me how quick Amazon can get you something, right? You order something today and they get it overnight, but that's what it is, right? You've got warehouses everywhere. So I order those headphones from wherever it is, and they're coming right here, right down the road. That's how they get to me the next day.
And so the change in retail purchases, where we don't all go to malls anymore,
Yeah.
but a lot of goods we do buy online, that also pre-COVID and now post-COVID, these brick and mortar stores continue to struggle with foot traffic, and the owners of these real estate also struggle with getting occupancy into them, the malls and the shopping centers,
Yeah.
right?
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what we've seen here in the Austin area. At least we're talking about commercial properties, and maybe even opportunities that people foresaw a long time ago. So a lot of the commercial properties here, you're starting to see these shopping areas where it's not under a roof like a mall; it's a shopping area. So you have these buildings that the first floor, maybe the second floor, is retail, maybe coffee shops, restaurants, stores, and then above it, all those other things are luxury apartments. And like you said, that doesn't go away. That need doesn't go away. Why not? You have office space can be converted to uh, commercial, or not commercial, but residential, right? You can switch office space to apartments pretty easily because the way they're built, you have access to the ceiling, to the electrical, and even the flooring to get to the plumbing. So it's not
Uh-huh.
real hard to install toilets and
Yeah.
showers and extra rooms. So
We'll see
maybe
what
that's another
happens.
opportunity.
I mean, we're talking about a recession. Are we in a recession, right?
Yep. Yep.
You got the other issue here is that regional banks, if we're still talking about the commercial real estate,
Yep.
they are local banks too. They are heavily exposed to commercial real estate loans.
Mm-hmm.
So if the property values drop and defaults rise as the property values drop, it could cause a ripple effect throughout the banking sector. Um, we saw that 2023 regional bank turmoil for a little while,
Yep.
right? There was a disruption. So we saw that disruption. It could start to have a tremor effect through other areas of the economy. So
Yeah.
this is all going into like a reset, and it'll be interesting to see what happens here with the economy. Not for sure, not really hot and growing anymore, and that was because of inflationary issues and the Fed raising interest rates to slow it down. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, getting back to what we were talking about then, because people hear the word recession causes anxiety. People see 401ks and things changing, right? And if they're not prepared, then that can cause anxiety. What are some things then that they can do now? What are some of the things we can do
Oh, I'm
now
glad you said
to
that.
prepare? And I'm not, again, we may not be able to deep dive, but just in general, some things we can do to combat
Yeah.
these.
So if you want, click here, and this is going to give you a link to our other podcast about what to do in a market downturn,
Yeah.
right? If your 401k has been shrinking and your brokerage right account, your TSP has been going down in value, these are some things to do and what not to do. Just go ahead and click right here on that link to that video. So, what can you do if there's a recession? Look, 3 to 3.5 years out. We've said this over and over again. I've said this for years. You've got to start to lay the foundation of your financial house for retirement. That
Hmm.
means the the concrete, what will not slide away. It can't be built on stocks that can go up and down and pitch up and down. It could be very dangerous. So 3 to 3.5 years out, you need to start making a plan where you start to off some of that risk,
Mm-hmm.
possibly a good bit of that risk out of your portfolio. Look, folks, that's why the TSP allows an age based in service rollover or withdrawal. That means you're old enough, 59 and a half is the age, in service while still working, or you who have taken a resignation, you're going to be gone soon. If you're younger than 59 and a half, you can start to set up a plan so
Yeah.
that you're not exposed to all this volatility while you may be trying to take income from your retirement savings, because that's what most people, retirement income is what they imagine would be the outcome from
Yeah.
their retirement savings, saving all those years. So take some, we also call it taking profits. Sometimes you got to take some profits off. Maybe you're even with last year, right? In the 12
Yeah.
months, you haven't made anything. You went up and it was so awesome, then you came down and you're scratch. That's okay. You've only lost the peak of that summit there. So
Yeah.
it's very hard to get it perfect and time the market exactly. But in
Yeah.
this case, maybe you can go ahead and um, create that plan, take some risk off the table, and create that base, the bottom of your house. Because nobody starts to build a house until they do the dirt work and they
Yep.
lay the foundation. They put the
Yeah.
concrete down, right?
Yep.
They
Yep.
drill into rock sometimes around here until they find it stable. Then, once you're done with that, that stuff that's for income that can't fluctuate, then you could start to build the walls of your house and put the roof up, right? And that
And
could be with stocks, equities, index funds, et
right.
cetera.
And I think that when we study the economy, you study history of it. It's never linear, right? Things don't
Never
always just continue to go up. You have ups, you have downs. The
jagged
upside
edges,
of the downs, there's another upside coming, right? It's gonna
right?
happen. You just have to be prepared so that when they have the downturns, you don't freak out, don't become overly anxious, and ride
Right
it out,
on.
and then enjoy the good times when they hit.
That's it. So I think we're done good here, Marcus.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, we've
Yeah,
discussed some things for opportunities. So since we started with talking about anxiety, right, because of words, I have a great health tip if you're ready for me.
bring it.
Okay.
Tell us.
Here's what I'm going to suggest for everybody to do to get you through these tough times to be comfortable, if you will, or relax, and that is practice gratitude. Now, what do I mean by that? You can do a couple of things. Number one, you can write down in a journal. A lot of people like to journal, right? Maybe at the end of the day or the first thing in the morning. Write down some things you're grateful for. If you don't want to write them down, I'm kind of lazy on myself, so I just do it in my head. I just take some time and just every day, just a couple minutes, and think about what I'm grateful for. And this helps with a lot, believe it or not. And there have been a lot of studies on this. It helps with anxiety and depression, which are the big two, I think. Anytime we start dealing with things like recession, we start to hear, the news and all this fear mongering that goes on. And we start to deal with anxiety and depression. Taking some time and saying, hey, yeah, things are bad, but here's what I'm grateful for. Grateful for my family, my wife, my husband, my kids. I'm grateful for my good friends. I'm grateful that I got up this morning. Right, the sun's out. I got to be up and face the day. But it also helps physically. And one of the biggest benefits, and for me, this is something I always struggle with, is sleep. When you practice gratitude, it gives you peace of mind and it helps you to sleep deeper and better. And man, I don't know. I don't get a good night's sleep every night anymore at my age. Now that I'm years old, sleep kind of comes to go. I don't know if you deal with that at all, Chuck, but it kind
I
of comes and goes
do.
sometimes.
I'm not happy about that, but last night I went to bed pretty late, but I woke up at like 5:15. I was like, hey, that's pretty positive. I'm going to take that. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there, if you're dealing with anxiety, one, and I know we've mentioned this. It'll go in line with this. Put yourself on that media diet, right? That news diet. Cut out as much as you can. Keep what's necessary, but then take time every day to meditate and think about what you are grateful today. What are you grateful
Oh,
for
that's
today?
good.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
like
think it'll
that. An
help a lot.
attitude, an attitude of gratitude, folks.
Attitude of gratitude. I like it. Now I think I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll deal with my recession by selling T-shirts. How's that?
It sounds fantastic.
Attitude of gratitude. It's coming for you. Look for it, folks. Look for it on Etsy.
When I was a kid, we went up to Cape Cod, and I remember they had, oh man, T-shirts were a big thing back then
Yeah.
in the 70s, right? And they had all these like decals you could pick from on the wall, and they went up really high, and they were like bright, and some of them is sparkly, and we
Yeah.
could you pick your T-shirt, right, small, medium, large, and they had white, and I remember yellow and a couple of different
Mhm.
colors, and then mostly white, and then you'd pick your decal, and they would slap that decal down. I don't know if they used an iron to put it on the
Yeah, it's an
T-shirt.
iron. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a vacation thing. Get you a T-shirt with your own decal on it. Yeah,
You know what?
it
If
was
somebody
pretty cool.
starts this business, I want a cut, man. Just give me a cut because that's a great idea. Attitude of gratitude on a T-shirt. And don't forget, if it was in the 70s, they had to have a brown T-shirt. I know they were selling brown T-shirts.
They probably had brown ones too. They probably did. I remember the girls got like white ones. I got three sisters, right?
Yeah.
And then there's three of us boys. So it was my mom used to say, people would say, "Oh, three boys, three girls. You're like the Brady Bunch," because the Brady Bunch was big then.
Yep.
And she would say, "Yeah, except we don't have Alice the maid." Right? And we would say, "Yeah, we don't have a dog either." Because my mom, we wouldn't have a dog. She didn't want one. And we would be like, "Yeah." And she'd go, "Yeah, but I don't have Alice. If you get me Alice, then I'll get you guys a dog."
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that coming from your mom. Oh
Oh,
man.
man.
Well, good stuff today. Thanks for talking us through this whole thing of recession, folks. We say it all the time. Get someone on your side that's going to help you feel more comfortable dealing with all of this. Have someone on your side. Schedule that 15-minute phone call, right? 949-359-5100. 949-359-5100. Schedule text. You want to text your name, your email, and phone number. We'll get to you. We'll schedule you in, but get someone on your side. And also, click down below. Subscribe to these videos. We're going to be putting out good information for you, help you through these tough times, and you'll be the first to get them if you were subscribed to it, right? And there's also a link down there to make a consultation as well, or to schedule a consultation, I should say. So make sure you get someone on your side, and we'll help you through this recession that's coming.
You
Not here
know it.
yet, but it's coming.
You know it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're here
Meanwhile,
to
thank
help.
you everybody for being here at CD Financial Podcast, CD Financial, where health meets wealth. As always, I'm Marcus C. It's a pleasure having you, Chuck. Thank you for your time, my brother.
Thank you, Marcus. You rolled it up. Thank you. We'll talk to you folks real soon. Just your name and your email. When you text us, we already got your phone number.